Hello everyone, my name is Ravi, and in this video, I've tried to give a very high level overview of the roles and responsibilities, the technologies that you need for anyone aspiring to become a senior IAM engineer or a senior IAM consultant. I see a lot of the folks who are already in working as a support engineer or as an IAM engineer struggling to find a way in terms of how would they even plan to be a senior IAM engineer. So here is my take on what are the roles and responsibilities, technical aspects of becoming a senior engineer. I hope this video helps you. And this was part of the live sessions that we did in our community. We have amazing sessions like this once every week. And we are also doing free live sessions over the weekend. So hope you enjoy this and please share your comments. Thank you.
Welcome to India's first identity podcast. Why not IAM?
So, first of all, there is a lot of roles and responsibilities around an IAM engineer. Most of them are basic, like how do you install, configure, set up, support, level one issue, all of this, right? So, most of the time it is restricted to one layer, which is you're on the tool level or on the tenant level. There is nothing beyond that. Everything is defined for an engineer. You just go, understand, execute. But when you try to become a senior IAM engineer, there are certain expertise, skill, and this is between the range of 5 to 15 years. Sometimes even a senior IAM engineer, senior consultant, all of this fall under the same category. And that can vary upon 10 years, 12 years, 13 years. I've seen a lot of people enjoying a role of a senior engineer, okay? And they tend to work till almost like 18, 19 years also. So that is considering this. So don't get overwhelmed as you see, okay, there are so many things that you need to cover. But that does not mean if you are applying at a 6-year experience, you'll be asked everything. But that is how you should plan your journey. Every time you should become better, right? So that is only reason why company will pay you high. Imagine you have 5 skill set in one company. After 3 years, you change the other company with the same 5 set of skill set. There is nothing that you have changed more. So why will a company give you additional 5 lakh, right? And then hire you there with the same set of skill set. This is where upskilling plays a major role. Okay. So this is considering the fact that this is broadly between a category of 5 to 10, 15 years also. And what are the skills required there? Okay. So the first one, the skill required for senior IAM engineer, technology required, and then I'll also talk in brief about the difference between a senior IAM engineer and an IAM engineer. Okay. So let's start with the skill required to become a senior IAM engineer. First is the technical expertise. On one level, when you are an IAM engineer, you are just expected to learn the tools. Like you'll be given the task, you just go and execute. But as a senior IAM engineer, right, you should know, have the knowledge of cloud security. Now, how you should have the knowledge of cloud security doesn't mean that you go and become a AWS solution architect or Google solution architect. Okay. First, you should know about the security threats because as a senior, you will be given an opportunity to build something. Task will not come and say that, okay, everything is there, document, just execute. Problem, scenarios, use cases will come to you. One of the use case could be, let's plan to add a new server in the infrastructure. The first question is, where is the server hosted? Is it on-prem? Is it on cloud? They'll say, yeah, these are hosted on AWS. I'll give you an AWS server. Can you please set that up? So at least the basic knowledge, the console should be familiar to you. So these type of areas is where you need the cloud knowledge. Okay. And security wise is when you're putting data on the cloud, when you're saying, okay, we have to store data on the IQ server, or we have to store the data on Savient. How do you ensure that the data is adhering to confidentiality, integrity, and availability? That is how you're strengthening the security, right? So again, concept. I'm just going through the concepts only, right? I'm not going in detail. But these topics I've already covered in one of the, I think, the overall session on the 0 to Hero course on YouTube. It could be like the third or fourth video. Okay. Networking, again, load balancer. You have to set up load balancer. You should know, right, what IP. If you're troubleshooting, you should know what to do, when to do ping, when to do a trace route, right? How load balancing is working, right? Where the port numbers are coming in. And again, identity governance, identity, your access management, privilege access management. At least when you're now as a senior IAM engineer, right? Most of the time you are a single point of contact. Sometimes you are also acting as a lead. All these role comes under the same band, right? Senior IAM engineer, senior consultant, lead, all of this. Okay, technical lead. So there, if you are interacting, if you have a problem and if you're going into a different team, you should know. For example, you are facing an issue on data sync between your IG system and your access management system, say Savient and AD or ping directory. You should at least understand if they are saying that, hey, we have created a rule here where during birthright access, there are few attributes that are getting created on Savient or SailPoint, and that is getting pushed to ping directory. You should at least know what are they saying when they are talking about provisioning. Okay, so imagine when you were at a junior level or as an engineer level, no one was talking all these jargons to you, but suddenly as a senior, you are expected to take this role. No one is coming, is going to come and say, here is a document, go and execute. That is not the role of a senior engineer. Okay. Now, to do all of this, when you have the technical expertise, communication plays a very major role. You cannot be sitting quiet there, right? And application load balancer here right now, I'm not going to detail, Ridish. Okay. But this could be anything when you say load balancer, anywhere where you are trying to balance the load. Okay. Then communication plays a major role. See, the way I'm talking, if you keep me in front of an IGA team or an access team, I know what my problem statement is and I should be able to communicate that to them. Then only they will be able to go and check on the right direction. I cannot just know about my system and not even be able to tell that. That is not how it would work. So communication, ability to effectively communicate. Now, how do you improve communication? One of the best thing you do is, if you are going into a meeting, I've seen this a common problem with everyone. Please don't be quiet in every meeting and just don't make notes on the back end. And after that, ask your manager, is this right? Is this right? If they are saying it, ask there only. You may be wrong initially, but gradually make the habit of understanding things right there in the meeting. It took me a good amount of time, maybe 3, 6 months of continuously asking. Once you have asked the question there, you made a blunder, come here and understand it. Definitely, you don't go and ask that when you are doing this app onboarding, what do you mean by app onboarding? Not those type of questions. That is there. If you're working as an engineer, you should have the basic knowledge. But sometimes they'll say load balancer, sometimes they'll say gateway, sometimes they will say we have something on like a SaaS platform. Sometimes they will say there is a security issue, some vulnerabilities are there. Ask those questions. What are they trying to solve there? Okay. This is where communication comes into picture. Leadership, by default, whenever you are a senior IAM engineer, you are expected to drive things on your own or along with your team members. So you should be there to work with the team members. So sometime you'll be given one task. Now, if you divide that task using your Jira or any platform, you'll see there are 3 subtasks which you cannot do everything. So how will you do that? So you'll need a couple of team members. So you should be having the capability of not putting things on them, but at the same time acting as a leader and helping them execute them, guiding them. Not saying, okay, you 3 people take 3 things and go and do and let me know and continuously chase them. That is not what leaders do. Okay. So these are the skills. Now going back to technical expertise. Before this, any questions? I can pause here for a minute. And is this valuable? Are you guys enjoying the session so far? Put it on the chat if it is boring, if it is enjoyable, if it is valuable, or any questions, please put it on the chat. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Ridish. Thank you very much.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hey, Ravi, Krishna here.
Hello, Krishna.
Ravi, the situation, the scenario that you have described, that fits me 100% correct. I
Mhm,
have been moved from support role to a developer role from L2 to L3 all these
mhm,
years. Like I mentioned in the chat, I have 8 years of experience in support domain or
mhm,
IAM, wherein I work with multiple, all the major IAM tools as a support engineer. But right now, I have been elevated. I've been promoted to L3 developer position, and
okay.
I do not know much about. I lack. I feel like I lack technical skills, and no one is there to guide. No documentation.
Mhm.
So the things that you said are completely apply in real time, in real scenarios. So I hope I get a roadmap out of this meeting.
Yeah, absolutely. That is where, and these are again not my problem, but I think last week I had few one-on-one sessions, right? And somewhere I saw that folks are in their support role, in the engineer role, have no clue how to get into the senior roles. Either they are stuck waiting for companies to promote, which they will never promote, right? Unless until
Yeah,
they have vacancies, right? And this is the biggest myth, guys, that company are sitting there to help you grow. That is not going to happen ever. You have to prove, then only either you get promoted here or you get promoted or get elevated in a role outside the organization. Okay, so these are the only two ways. Now, and then one of the thing that came to my mind is the main challenge
hmm,
here is you have folks who are working as an engineer and you have folks who are working as a senior engineer. Now, a lot of the time, engineers don't ask senior engineers, right? Sometimes there is a communication gap out of fear, lack of confidence that can you help me with a path? Sometimes people are ready to help, but then if someone is not asking randomly, not everyone will come and ask, right? Or tell you the answers. That gap was there. That's where I thought, let me put up a roadmap. At least if I give you a map saying this is
hmm,
how you go to Hyderabad,
yeah,
right? You can choose flight, train, bus, roadways, anyway, but you know where the location is. But if I
correct.
tell you go to Hyderabad, you will start, but you may reach Chennai, you may reach Maharashtra, Mumbai. You don't know, right? And then you will start
Yeah,
searching whether I've reached Hyderabad or not. You will start asking people. This is what is happening here. People are trying, but there is no definitive way to say that okay, if you do these things then you will reach there. People are reaching somewhere and then realizing okay, this is not the right way. And what happens is because of this we are losing good folks, because good folks are losing interest on the role that they're doing. Somehow they come into wrong roles, or somehow because of lack of guidance they are still stuck,
yeah,
but they have a really good capabilities. So this is where I'm trying to ensure that at least even 10-20% also you get that clarity. Most important, at least if you know where Hyderabad is, I am pretty much
yeah,
sure you guys will figure out the ways. And this is what I am trying to teach from today's session. I'll tell you what is waiting there. When you become a senior engineer, what is expected out of you? Now, when do
yeah.
you get these skill set? How much time you take it? That is totally up to you and the time that you want to spend in upskilling yourself. Okay,
Agreed, agreed, Ravi. These are the valuable input.
fine. Okay, any other questions? I see something on the chat. Mm, yeah, okay, no questions. Okay, that was the only question. Fine. Moving on, technical expertise, right? Now, when you're building a system or when you want to build any system, right? One of the things that you would need. So I think I had a drawing. Let me just try if that drawing is there or not. Okay. If it is there, it's good. If it is not there, I'm sorry. But let me see. Okay, this was not part. Okay, that drawing is not that is there in my other folder. I'll share that. Now, what I am trying to tell here is what you should know. I'll go a little bit more detail. Okay, now when you talk about cloud security, right? Now, thought process. The first thing is thought process. How do you change your thought process? Whenever you talk about IAM, IAM means identity and access management. Okay, your journey starts with identity. Without identity, you cannot manage anything. You cannot give access to anyone. You cannot govern anything. So first is when you think about identity and when you think about cloud security, that means somewhere either your identity is in cloud or the system that is managing the identity is in cloud, right? Either these are cloud accounts or these are accounts where they are stored inside the cloud or they're created on a cloud platform itself. Either hosting is there or the build is there. Now, question would come around this, right? And see, guys, these are um, like the mindset change that you have to do to become a senior engineer, because after this there is another mindset change which is to become an architect, another mindset change which is to become a manager or a senior director. So these level do not require just technical skill. That is why all these skills are important, and overall this will be a mindset change. You have to think from all that direction. If someone is coming and asking you, okay, I need to onboard an application, you should start thinking about the app, right? The users, where it will be stored, who will do authentication, who will do authorization, where this data is coming from, where are you going to fetch it, right? Now, then talk about security. Do you have MFA? Are you performing authentication? Can folks internally access this application, or can they only access externally? For external, do you have MFA? These kind of questions. Everywhere you have security as one of the major parameter when you're building anything. You're doing provisioning. Can, for example, you build a workflow where people can come and do self-registration. Can anyone come and do self-registration? Or how are you preventing that only the right users will have right set of access at the right time using the right set of tools, right? So these questions should come into picture. Then coming into networking, everything is networking. Okay, you build a system. You want connectivity from your IIQ or IDN cloud tool, on-prem tool to your AD networking. Through network, through IP, through port number only it is getting connected. A user wants to access an application. Everything is networking. It goes from one hop, one server to another server to one IP to another IP. That is where when troubleshooting, you should know what is happening, because here you will use tool like Fiddler, you will use tool like SAML Tracer, right? A developer's tool, all these tools just to troubleshoot. You'll check logs. Identity governance is again one aspect. So anyone who is working in access management like Okta Ping, they should also know a little bit of the SailPoint Savian side. Hence, this community comes into picture. People will talk about them, right? You just Google search what they are talking about, and gradually, if you want to spend 5 years in access management dedicatedly on Ping or Okta, do that. But at the same time, when people start asking these questions, when there are quizzes, just attend. Maybe you'll get two, three, four, five. But while in that 5 years, you have expertise in one domain, other will be known to you by default because of the involvement. And automatically, you don't have to prepare to become a manager because you know all the basics. Simply apply. Okay. Now, frameworks, very important. Okay. Hmm. I know a lot of the guys would know this, but for folks who are new, can you tell me the three reasons why an organization uses IAM? And people who are already there in the community from the long time can please refrain from answering. Three reasons why organization uses IAM. You can unmute and tell. That's fine. Or you can put it on the chat. That is also fine. And I'm talking about IAM in general, right? Not like Okta or Ping. Why will an organization use IAM tool? Simple. What is the primary reason? Security compliance, better management. Yes. What else? JML. But why JML? Hmm, It's like saying IAM is used for authentication, but why authentication is been used? Why you want to manage password to fun? And Prakash, why you want to do JML? Instead every user 120. But why? Why you want to improve this process? Yes, compliance. One main reason is compliance. Security is another reason. Third one, I know that is already been said. Ease of business. How do you do ease of business? Auditing compliance is the same thing. Why you want to streamline access? Security, compliance, and one more. I think I'll just go the chat above this, which was better management of users, right? Eventually saying data breaches, Zenith is a part of security. User experience, yes. Now, try to tag anything that you do with these three things. You want to use JML. Why? Because compliance team wants a process. Okay. You want to do, you want to protect, put MFA. Why? Because security team saying that is a gap. So security, compliance, and user experience. That's it. Now, if you talk about compliance, what are the compliance? SOC 2, SOX, and then you have HIPAA. What are the compliance? Can you tell me? What are the different compliance that you all have come across? Why you want to manage life cycle? Because someone told you to improve something, right? Either improve compliance or improve security or improve user experience. That is why you are using this component of life cycle or a function of life cycle through tool like Savient or SailPoint or other. Okay. I hope this is clear, right? I think you guys are all in sync with what I just said. What you are answering is right, but these are components. The reason, real reason is the three things here. Okay. HIPAA for healthcare, yes. SOX, ISO, GDPR, yes. Very good. So eventually, as a senior, right? Uh, tomorrow an application team will come up. Say, you have to, can you share me a screenshot of these configuration and all? You will not go and simply share it to them, right? How do you know why they have come for? Then they will say GDPR. Then you cannot be clueless. What is GDPR? What is SOX? This is where the knowledge is important. Now, why that knowledge is important? You will not ever be doing anything, right? But why as a senior engineer that knowledge is important? Because you will be given that accountability by your manager saying, can you drive this SOX compliance thing? Can you provide them the right information? That means the manager is trusting you that you are aware of the what is the criticality of this requirement. Here it is all about criticality. Your as you grow up in the ladder, your responsibility will not be too much, but your accountability becomes too much. You will be accountable for five different things. In that, there could be 10 tasks which others will be responsible. But for them to complete those tasks, you are accountable because you were given that whole task. Okay. So now communication skill, one of the beautiful communication skill is documentation, which I know a lot of you may hate it, right? But then I was also on the same boat. But documentation plays a really important role. In what perspective? First of all, when you start working on something and you parallelly create documentation, you really don't have to remember anything. That is the best part of it. Everything is documented. Tomorrow, someone says, after 2 months, what is this? What is that? Here is the documentation. Here is the KB article. Please go and read this. Okay? No question asked. Simple. Presentation. When do you need presentation? A presentation is required when you want to convert a business requirement into technical requirement. You will just be given few tasks saying, can you perform, can you create a self-service portal? Okay, or can you do an upgrade? Can you set up a new Okta tenant? Right? So there you need to be able to articulate what was the problem statement. Ideally, the high level format, again, these are separate topics, guys. So from a presentation perspective, there are few things. Always start your presentation. Always start with the problem statement, current state. A lot of the time, people will directly jump into a slide which says, this is what we are doing. But there is no background of why you're doing, what is the current state, And what is the roadmap? You have showed me the future. This is what you are going to do. But why you are doing it? How it looked now, right? Where did it all started? What is the problem statement? Because the problem statement will first you know the current state, right? You know that okay, this is how my house is. Now I know where all the leakage are. Next phase is this is how I'm going to build the house. You cannot simply go and put plasters everywhere, right? So this is where present again. This is a very quick, as I said, way of hmm, telling you what is required. Meeting leadership. A lot of the times people will never even approach there. The moment someone above their manager will come in, not everyone, but a lot of the us, they will not even open the mouth. Okay, 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 fine, fine, fine. And they'll go. Then they will have, okay, that guy was selling something wrong. How do I go and convince him? So this is where, see, how I look at this is task is given to me and I have to deliver with the best of my quality. Simple. Now for that, if I have to ask questions to CISO also, director also, I'll go and ask. Eventually you are working for them, right? You are making their life easy by completing this task. If you do it incomplete, reputational damage, business loss, delays, all of this. But what if you ask the right question in the beginning, right? You will be able to exactly understand the requirement, give them the right set. Reputational increases, you'll get reward, you'll be given good quality work because they know that, okay, a small work was delivered in such high quality just by probing and asking the right set of questions during the initial stages. Yes, it will take a little bit of gut, but please talk to your leadership, understand. Documentation, yes, absolutely, Ridish. This is a very good point for future references and to avoid escalation. Tomorrow, you should not say, hey, this guy told me to do it this way. Where is the email? Where is the documentation? Was it approved? Was it reviewed? No, screwed, done. So, this is where documentation are really important. Okay. Now, let's talk about some of the leadership abilities. As I said, task distribution is one of the important role, and don't be a bully, be a leader, be someone who is supportive. If they are not able to do, uh, be there to help or give that push of 10-20%, they'll complete it remaining 80%. Don't say, okay, go and do it. And if they are coming to you for questions, don't be someone who's not open. Have an open minded conversation. Make sure that they feel comfortable when you are around, not that they should be scared and they should not ask. Eventually, see, if you have been given accountability of a major task and there are three people working, they are the one who is going to do work for you. Simple. So make sure they are happy, and they will be happy only if they know the requirements correctly and you give them the right space and the right time, realistic time to complete it. And if they are not able to complete it on time because of some reasons, humans make mistake, you go and help them complete that. Eventually, as a team, showcase, right? And next thing is I've seen is people will be very helpful in the beginning, and once the task is done, all the names are gone from there, right? During the when they'll send the email, they'll see they'll send the email to the manager or leadership saying they have only completed. Please don't do that. Give due credit to those people. Now, this is how you maintain long-term relationship. At one day, again, think you'll be leader. You will need these same guys to help you, right? These guys is junior. They will also be junior if you promote at a very good speed. So you will every time in an organization, you will need people to help you execute your task. And especially in your leadership roles, you will not sit and do troubleshooting alone. People will have to do. And if people are there with you, who are supportive, who will do anything you say, you by default, you have won the game. Any task, people are there to execute on behalf of you. That is how you build the leadership qualities. Okay, now again, identity governance, cloud security, MFA, understanding of MFA, digital identity management, access policy. As I said, you don't need to know everything now. Gradually make sure as a senior, you are opening up your horizon and broadening your knowledge. Okay, so these are the same thing. Again, this is a little bit of MFA in detail. Now the last thing, let's talk about role of senior IAM engineer and an IAM engineer. IAM engineer responsible for implementation, configuration, maintenance, right? Where things will be given to you. Senior IAM engineer involves leadership, strategic thinking, where you have to think understand the use case, prepare or design, plan it, put up a document, give it to the IAM engineer to work it, uh, to execute it, right? Few you execute. IAM engineer requires technical skills. Both of them require technical skill, knowledge of IAM principle, control, security, all of this, right? Sometimes programming, but the skill required by senior IAM engineer is you should at least know how programming work, how scripting languages work, and again make this as your roadmap. Okay, I'm not saying do this everything on 1 year. Take 1 whole year just to learn development, understanding basic of development. Another year just learn scripting. Okay. So if you are starting at 5, 6 years, 8 years of experience, in by the time you reach 13 years of experience, you will be the best consultant, best IAM senior consultant, senior IAM engineer. Easily you'll be promoted as a role of lead or architect, those kind of thing. Because gradually you are upskilling yourself. And it does not mean that when you reach an architect, these skills will be zero. This skill plus a little bit of more skill is what is required to become an architect or to become a manager. A technical manager will definitely have all the skill set of a senior IAM engineer. Likewise, a senior IAM engineer will have all the skill set required of a IAM engineer. Then only they will upskill on top of it. Right? It is not the case that you forget the skill set of an IAM engineer and then suddenly you become prepare for a senior. That skill plus this skill. Similarly, whatever you accumulate to become a senior IAM engineer for another 5, 6, 7 years, right? uh, That skill will be an add-on, and then you just have to add few more skill to go into different roles after that. Okay, so that summarizes the roadmap of how you can become a senior IAM engineer. I hope this was helpful and it did give clarity to a lot of people. So any questions, queries? I'm open for another 5 minutes, and then Shubhankar will take it over for the troubleshooting session. Integration role as in Siddish, Ridish?
Hi, Ravi.
Please. Yeah, hello Ridish.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you, there are certain roles in certain companies that let's say you're an ops engineer like Mentorship. You might have to do some integration support also, like to provide integration support to a particular team. So in that case, like what kind of skill set should a person have, or what kind of work will that be? Because in certain companies, even I think the ops guys will do certain tasks like that, provide support to a team.
Those are
So
operation guys only, right? The moment you say
yes, yes.
support, those are operation guys. They will have similar skill set as a IAM engineer, or
Okay.
sometimes that much also is not required. Okay, they
Mm-hmm.
will basically have basic knowledge of AD, basic knowledge of provisioning, basic knowledge of access
Mm-hmm.
management, little bit here and there, not very tool specific, but general knowledge. And then they will be able to manage various tools and just onboard app or basic level one issues and all of that. After
Mm-hmm.
that, when you have that knowledge and you want to upskill further, grab one tool, do an expert, become an expert on that. You become an engineer. After that, add all the skills that I just said, become a senior engineer. Then after that, you have journey of an architect, manager, and all of that is the later stages. So everyone is very clear. Should I consider that everyone has got the understanding and they are really super clear? Yes, no, please put it on the chat. At least let's make it interactive. Senior engineer in product companies differ in service-based companies. Now, this depends on the roles and responsibilities. Overall, high-level knowledge remains the same, but from work perspective, it depends. If you are a engineer in a uh, when you say product company, right, Vinod? Do you mean product company as in a
Like
non-IAM
in
product company?
Savient, like in Savient or
Okay, in
any
Savient.
any
So
direct based company, any direct product
in
based.
both the ways, right? I have like recently I did a podcast with an engineer in Ping and engineer in SailPoint. So what they say is one is you are a level 2, level 3 support in a service based company for a client. Okay. In a product based company, either you are a developer developing the product or you are a professional service engineer again working for a client or a consulting service. But the difference there is here client will come to you 30 times in a day in a service based company, but the same client may come to you twice a month. only for escalated issue where product dependency is there. So the expectation is here you should know the client infrastructure. Like here you should know, say, a lot of tools that the client is managing as a holistic operations team, right? But here just the knowledge of that tool, very deep knowledge, means when issue comes to you when you are working as a product company, engineer in a product company, there is nothing behind you, like you have to solve it. That is the escalation. That is like the level 4, level 5 escalation. And only if there is a product dependency, something that the services company is not able to solve because of the product defect or something, then it comes to you. So that is how the volume changes. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I think mainly in product base, it's like in-depth knowledge of that product, whereas service, it's like high-level
Yes.
overview of everything, all the solutions.
No, product knowledge is also important because you are supporting the product. But
Yeah, yeah.
product engineer will have more knowledge about the product because their only work whole day is to just go deep dive into the product. Here, the knowledge level may not be that high level because here they have to support one client with Okta, other client with Ping. So that level of knowledge, but integration wise, from a percentage perspective, if the senior IAM engineer in a product company should know 95% of the product, here they can know 60 to 70, 80% of the product.
Yeah, yeah. Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.